In this video, let's take a look at artificial intelligence tools within Adobe Camera Raw. Here in Adobe's Bridge, I'm showing a few thumbnails that I think demonstrates the essential nature of image editing and how it just continues to get better and better and make our work easier. My viewpoint of this bird was extremely restricted by many bushes all around me. It doesn't appear that way in the photograph because I'm using a Canon 100 to 500mm lens set to 500mm. So the angle of view is so narrow that I could just about squeeze through all of the foliage to pick out this shot. Now the issues we face here are pretty obvious. The whole of that branch on the right hand side needs to go, small one bottom left, but we've also got to do some strategic editing on the branch that the bird is sitting on. The good news is it's pretty easy to do with artificial intelligence. So let's go to Content Aware Remove to remove that branch. Now that's grouped with the healing brush and the clone tool. I'm not going to make any changes here. I can change the brush size with those square bracket keys to the right of the letter P. Now what I found here that sometimes if we make a brush and we just paint over a small area, sometimes we don't get such a wonderful job. Control Z is the keys we turn to in that case. Now what I've found with these tools is they can vary each time we apply them because we're applying them slightly differently. But here I'm getting a much better result when I make the brush quite large and I select all of that area in one go, allowing the software to do its work. Never perfect, but if you don't like what it's done, Control Z and have another go. Try painting from this side and coming this way. Slightly different, but I've done almost exactly the same as before. But as you can see, we do have a different result. Now we may feel there's a need in one or two places to make the brush a bit smaller and maybe just touch here and there, but I'm going to suggest that that would probably pass muster. If I've opened this image up to you with that top corner repaired, your eyes wouldn't be immediately drawn to it. Now as you can see here, I've gone ahead and fixed those other two branches because we use exactly the same techniques, and by comparison to the top right, they were pretty easy. What I need next is a mask. I'm going to go to my mask option, and the mask I want to select is Object. Now the object also works with a brush, so I can make my brush a little smaller or bigger. We can enlarge the canvas if we need to, of course, but here I think I'll keep it fairly small. Because all we need to do here is really point to what we want the software to select for us. We don't have to be that accurate. So let's give this a go, and we can just paint down this area. We don't have to be too accurate, as I said, and we don't have to do things in one go. You can see I stopped a little short there. So now I can say, okay, well let's add this bit to what I previously had masked. That's worked pretty well. Now let's add that bit. And we can even have a go at doing that little tiny bit there. And I'm working with the image without enlarging it. If we enlarged it, it would be better. And then of course we've got this little bit down here. We can do that too. There we have a pretty good selection. So all I really need to do now is to maybe drop down those highlights a little bit, and I can drop down the exposure or make any other changes I feel is necessary to make that branch less obtrusive within the image. And just to complete this, I think I'll go back to my masks and I'll select the background. It's going to do that pretty quickly and easily because all I want to do is to just drop down the tones there a little bit to present my image. Now I can see my video length is just approaching the 5-minute point. So given what we've been able to do here in under 5 minutes while demonstrating and talking about the subject, I think is pretty impressive. Then again, I think Photoshop is pretty impressive, but remember too, what we're doing here is also available in Lightroom. I'll see you next time.